Pedimian satisfaction on the LMS utilized by Pambayang Dalubhasaan ng Marilao as its online learning platform in the time of pandemic. Introduction.
According to Lishin and to 2021, the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic poses significant challenges on the global education system. By July 2021, the UN Educational Significance and Cultural Organizations 2020 reported the nationwide school closure in 111 countries affected over 1.07 billion students, which around 61% of the global student population. The challenge in online education include the poor network service, lack of food supply, high fee, lack of directly teaching and learning, poor computer compliance, and literacy level. For sure, internet access is the main challenges. Anxiety, depressions, and affordable home learning environment.
Face-to-face classes are not permitted as COVID-19 pandemic begins. It is impact the education system of all schools. Nobody expected that in today's situation, students and teachers would use the internet for online classes. But then, there is a software known as learning management systems that is became useful and widely used by teacher and student nowadays, such as Google Classroom, MS Team, and other example of LMX. Lecture Learning 2020. The current COVID-19 crisis has obliged most education systems to adopt alternative face-to-face teaching and learning. Many education systems move activities online to allow instruction to continue despite schools closure. This slide reminds us that since there was COVID-19, face-to-face classes have been banned due to the danger for teachers and students. Many of us don't like it because it is difficult to learn. But DepEd gives a solution so that we do not have difficulty in learning our lesson. Online learning management system is the solution of our DepEd. We can use such as MS Teams Word, Google Classroom, and etc. Online schooling has been an important tool to sustain skills development during school closure.
According to CDK and Masud, 2012, as these technological changes start, improvements in education have become possible. And with this time of pandemic, the learning management system is being used by every school today. However, many students find it difficult to use learning management system as an online learning platform during the pandemic, and they question the credibility of the learning management system on how it will help the students in their studies because students prefer face-to-face classes over online learning, which will provide them with a variety of challenges. But since the pandemic is still ongoing, students have no choice but to use learning management system by the start of online learning until now. It will also help them to learn, to communicate with their teachers nor classmates as it is their material, and it will help them to study during this pandemic when everyone should stay at home.
Hence, the purpose of the study is to have idea of using its applications as an online learning platform that is affected to easy to use not for all students online learning but also for the teachers online teaching.
Theoretical framework.
The EDT theory or the expectancy disconfirmation theory developed by Richard L. Oliver. This theory assumed that expectation, disconfirmation, and perceived performance influence customer satisfaction. This theory designed for customer to have prediction before purchasing the goods. Expectation are strong beliefs of a customer that will happen to a product or service that they will get. Perceived performance. The perception of how the customer is performing can have more impact on the customer. Disconfirmation occurs when the performance is considered to be better or lower than predetermined expectation. Lastly, the satisfaction. How the customer is satisfied or contented to their product or service received. According to Anderson and Sullivan, the satisfaction involves comparison of prior expectations and performance outcome. The customer's perception of overall satisfaction results from the comparison between expectation and performance. Therefore, expectation and performance are two important variables that can influence the satisfaction of customers. Based on this theory, a company can increase satisfaction by increasing perceived product performance or lowering expectation.
That said, theory is being related to the study we bound to conduct considering one's expectation to the pedemian's satisfaction prior to the different experiences to the LMS as the online learning platform. The theories are related in one's belief to the pedemian's satisfactions and relates to the different occurrence of LMS in online learning platform. This, in turn, will measure their progress in their courses. This can also create milestones to which students need to achieve step by step to ensure that they are right on track with the course progressions. EDT models is bound to use by the researchers as a way to identify how the performance of the PDM's online learning platforms affect the students' satisfaction towards online learning that the educational department suggested to do to continue the schooling of students in this time of pandemic. Participants of the study.
The researchers used a stratified random sampling technique to get the desired participants of the study. The reason why the researchers used stratified sampling technique in choosing the respondents is because the epidemians has a large population. Smaller population might show more accurate result considering it's easily monitored and also saves the time that the researchers will spend in data gathering. There are a total of 60 students among each year level from 3 courses in Pambayang Dalupasaan ng Marilao or PDM were chosen to be the respondents of this study. 20 from the College of Hospitality and Tourism Management or CHTM, Bachelor of Computer Science or CCS, and Bachelor of Science in Office Administration or OWAD. 5 each year level are randomly selected through stratified sampling. The participants should be enrolled to their course. They should be using the Learning Management System or LMS utilized by the school and also should be registered students in PDM. The researchers focus on the students that are using the LMS as their online learning platform utilized by the Pambayang Dalupasaan ng Marilao in its time of pandemic.
Results.
Table 1 shows the level of expectation of Pidimians on the LMS utilized by Pambayang Dalubasaan ng Marilao as its online learning platform. Among the 7 attributes, Pidimians has the highest expectation on the user-friendliness and accessibility of instructional materials of LMS because of both attained highest weighted mean average of 4.28 and interpreted as good. However, Pidimians has the lowest expectation on integrity of LMS as evidence of its attained lowest weighted mean average of 4.0, which orally evaluated and interpreted as good. Generally, Pidimians is anticipating or planning to adopt a good learning management system with giving respect to the attributes listed in the table as reflected by its overall weighted mean average of 4.15 and verbally interpreted as good.
The Table 2 shows the Pidimian's perception of the LMS utilized by the Pambayang Dalubasaan ng Marilao as its online learning platform. The Table 2 shows Pidimian's perception on the LMS utilized by the Pambayang Dalubasaan ng Marilao as its online learning platform. Out of the 7 attributes, the accessibility of the instructional material got the highest weighted mean of 4.27, which is verbally interpreted as good. This shows that the Pidimians appreciate the use of instructional material given by the instructor despite knowing the use of NS team. Meanwhile, the lowest weighted mean is 3.88, which is the clarity of the structural delivery via the internet, which is verbally interpreted as good. It shows the Pidimians are having a hard time understanding the lesson because of the lost or unstable internet affecting their performance in class. Generally, all variables are somewhat influential as reflected in the overall weighted mean of 4.10, which is verbally interpreted as good, showing that the students are able to understand the lesson despite the challenges of distance learning.
Table 3 show PDMyan's level of satisfaction on the LMS utilized by Pambayang Dalubhasaan ng Marilao as its online learning platform. The table show two results. One is the computed level of satisfaction, which is based on R.L. Oliver's theory, and the other one was survey which was obtained through direct questioning from the respondents. Based on the computed level, the highest weighted mean show 4.1 and the verbal interpretation is highly satisfied, which is accessibility of instructional materials by each student. Highest result is the assessment integrity with the weighted mean of 0.20 with the verbal interpretation of dissatisfied. This shows the student attitude and discipline in online learning must be demonstrated and tested. However, the survey weighted mean is 4.12 and the verbal interpretation is highly satisfied, which is accessibility of instructional materials by where each student believes that it provides all the knowledge the student in online learning that is being implemented today. In spite of that, interaction with instruction and classmates has the lowest weighted mean of negative 0.05, with the verbal interpretation of satisfied. This level of computed satisfaction they founded by the fact that some students having conversation with their classmate during the meeting considering there is no instruction or teachers to look at them. However, the lowest result is the clarify of the instructional delivery via internet, with an weighted mean of 3.87, with the verbal interpretation of satisfied, which is some of the student experiencing the slow connection. The student cannot easily connect with the instructors. The overall result shows that the PDMians are highly satisfied with their experience in using the learning management system as it was user-friendly and give clear communication between the teacher and the student, which is listed in the table as reflected by an overall weighted mean of 4.01, which is verbally interpreted as highly satisfied. Even so, the computed weighted mean that PDMians are dissatisfied with a weighted mean of 0.07, which is verbally interpreted as dissatisfied.
Table 4 for hypothesis testing. Step 1. Null hypothesis. Mu1 equals to mu2. Alternative hypothesis. Mu1 not equals to mu2. Step 2. Since level of significance is equals to 0.5 and the test is two-tailed, the number of ordered pairs is 20 subtract to 1 is equals to 19. The critical value is equals to positive negative 2.093. Step 3. Using t-test to compute for the test value, and the test value obtained was 0.66. For step 4, since the test value is 0.66 falls under non-rejection region, do not reject the null hypothesis. And for the step 5, there is no significance difference between the level of satisfaction of the CCS and OAD students on the LMS as their online learning platform that utilized by Pambayang Dalubhasaan ng Marilao.
Conclusion.
In overall result, PDMians are satisfied on using the LMS utilized by Pambayang Dalubhasaan ng Marilao as its online learning platform. PDMians' level of satisfaction resulted to a highly satisfied with their experience in using the LMS as it was user-friendly and gives clear communication between the teacher and the students.